technical difficulties here. Hey, everybody. It's Brandon Gustafson with Assisted Living Investing. Excited to have you here with me on the channel today. Today, we're going to be talking about funding partners inside of assisted living. Excited to be chatting with you about that topic, as it's something that we actually had somebody on YouTube ask about this recently, and I was like, this is a great topic for us to be discussing. So wanted to hit on that today, the different funding partners that you need to help you get started on your assisted living journey, your top funding partners. Before we get started, I want to remind everybody to go and grab the free resource that I've got for you at assistedlivinginvesting.net/BP checklist. We've got a ticker that's going down that's going to give you all of that information as well, and that will help get you something that you really need to move things forward. Funding partners, whether it is, and we're going to talk about all those different types of funding partners, but regardless of who it is, they're going to want to see that you've done your homework, that you are moving things along, that you know what you're doing, that you know what you're talking about, and that they can have the confidence to actually want to work with you. So this tool, this free tool for you, is great and going to help you out as you're trying to get with those top funding partners. So make sure you go and grab that free resource. I also, for those of you that are new, that are watching for the first time, type in newbie. Love to hear and see all those people that are new to the channel that are tuning in and getting information that they need to launch their assisted living business. And excited to have you here with me on our journey today. To get you introduced to who I am, why I'm qualified to talk with you about this. My name is Brandon Gustafson. I own 2 assisted living facilities. I've done this for since 2020, so quite a few years now, and have I love working in this space and helping people out and working through things and helping you launch your assisted living business. Something that I'm super passionate about and love doing. So I do this out of state as well. So I live in Utah. I have a facility in Colorado and another one in Idaho. So not only have I been doing it for a while, have done this out of state. So I can help answer a lot of those different types of questions as well. I excuse me. I have secured over $1.5 million in SBA funding. I know how to work with lenders, how to get into these partnerships, and so what we're going to be talking about today in how to work with those different funding partners. I've actually done this in a few different areas, and so excited to kind of share that with you as well, and helping you understand exactly what that looks like and how it's going to work for you. And I have a master's in healthcare administration. Have been working in the healthcare industry for over a decade now, I think 15 years or so. I have a lot of experience in that area and love sharing that information. So that's me. That's my background. That's why I can teach you on this and how I can help you along that path. For those of you that are live, please type in your questions. Chad, thanks for being here, man. And yeah, type in your questions. Let's go get into this. So let's talk about some of the benefits of a funding partner before we get into the different types of funding partners that are out there. So when it comes to working with a funding partner, what you're going to find is they can allow you to have more access to larger pools of capital. This is if you are in real estate at all, you hear about OPM, other people's money, all the time, right? And this is where getting with a funding partner and working with them and leveraging other people's money to help you achieve your goals and dreams is huge. It gives you access to that, or you can pool people's money together, and it really can benefit you from that standpoint. It allows you to share that financial risk as well. So when you're working in these small types of facilities, the margins are quite a bit tighter than they would be if you were buying a 200 bed facility. It's just the reality of the economics of it. And if you're able to spread that out amongst a larger group of people, then it allows you to diversify, spread out that risk a little bit, and lets you guys cover things if a rainy day does come up, and it definitely could. I want to be honest with you that everything, as much as we want this all to work and have everything be perfect, it doesn't always happen. And so you want to be aware that that's something, and working with partners can really help give an extra level of confidence if something bad does happen. And it also allows you to leverage that partner's expertise and their network, which is huge when you're working in this. So, like me, for example, and my dad, I had the experience in healthcare. Like I mentioned, I have a master's in healthcare administration, have worked in the industry for over a decade, have a lot of experience in the healthcare world. He's had experience running businesses, and we were both kind of new at getting into real estate, but we used each other's expertise in building a business that was in healthcare, and then worked on using some education that we received on how to invest in real estate, learned how to get to where we're at. We leveraged each other's skill sets and networks, and we continue to do that. And I love building out those networks. So you might find that, hey, I'm the nurse. I've been working in assisted living. I've been in the healthcare space for a long time, but I have no idea about real estate. Who's that partner that you can leverage? Or you've been in real estate, but assisted living is scary to you because you've never been in healthcare, and so you go find that person. So you want to leverage another person's expertise, their knowledge, and also their network, and helping you build things out. So these are the big benefits of working with a funding partner. So let's talk about now the types of funding partners. And I would love for you to kind of chat in the one below that you think is the most valuable as you're going through this. Or if I missed one, would love to hear what those are. So go ahead and type those in the comments down below. But types of funding partners, let's begin with private investors. So these are high net worth individuals. They're looking for strong returns. These are people that they just have gobs of money. They don't know what to do with it. They just want a good return on the money. They want a good steward of that money so that they can give it to you for a year and a half, 3 years, however long, and then they get the money back with a return on it. That's what they want to have. And that's a group of people that you could be targeting, that you could be working with and helping you move things along to help people to work with if you can find them. Joint venture partners. So this is somebody that you're going to collaborate with. So my dad, in my example, would be a joint venture. I'm going to use him a few times because he falls into another bucket down the line here. But a joint venture partner is somebody that you're going to collaborate with, and you're going to create a very clear a partnership, an operating agreement, so that you know who's doing which thing. I highly encourage you to work with an attorney when you're doing this, that you draft an operating agreement, that you spend time learning what skill sets people have, what they're good at, what they like to do, and really allow those people to blossom in that area. But when you're doing a joint venture, there's also the probability that you're going to have to share good chunks of equity. So these are joint ventures. You are going into this together. So don't go into this with the thought that I'm going to do a joint venture with somebody and they're only going to have 10% ownership. That's something that like the private investor is going to want. But a joint venture is, I'm going into this and I'm giving 50% or I'm giving 30, 40% of what I'm doing, because this is a group effort and we are sharing responsibility. That's what a joint venture is. So if you are, like I was mentioning earlier just a second ago, if you are that person that is in real estate but don't have the experience in healthcare, and you're the person that is in healthcare but doesn't have the experience in real estate, you blend those things together. Maybe you're 50-50 partners or 60-40 partners. You want to work that out. It's between the two of you to figure out exactly what that's going to look like. But that's a joint venture. And you want to, specify who's doing what things and what type of return people are going to get. It's a great way to get into it, but it's like getting married. So you want to make sure that you are very comfortable with the people that you are doing a joint venture with, because for the duration of the period of time that that entity is created, you are legally obligated to do things with them. And so it is very much a marriage. You want to make sure that you are building a good relationship and you're comfortable working with those individuals. Okay, so that's a joint venture. Next is going to be institutional firms. So institutional investors, these are firms or groups that are looking for large scale projects. So if you think of like a REIT, a real estate investment trust, or if you look at just some of the larger groups, one that is that's very popular, it's Black Diamond, I think is what it's called. It's a big group, and they go out and they buy large quantities of real estate. Um, those are groups that are out there. And if you can get in with them, it's a great opportunity for you to do it. For you as a small individual, the chance of you working with an institutional investor, I'd say, is probably pretty slim unless you already have outstanding relationships with them. But that's where, as I was talking about, those relationships and that network can really come into play. So if you're building out relationships with people, you never know what's going to happen. You could find somebody that is an institutional investor, and it doesn't have to be the huge, black diamond, whatever, BlackRock, that's what it's called. You don't have to be working with BlackRock to do this. It could be a smaller local type of institutional firm, but you're going to need or institutional investor, but you're going to need much bigger relationships there as you're working through that. For those types of groups, because they are typically not looking at just doing one residential assisted living facility. They're looking at buying a portfolio of 20 facilities, or large facilities, like 100 bed facilities. The small 10, 12 bed mom and pop shop, not going to be super interested in that type of a thing. But I mean, you never know. So you always want to build those relationships with people. Let's get into the continuation of these. So friends and family. This is one where my dad is another great example of this. Outstanding relationship with him. Obviously, he's my dad, and having those conversations with him. When I decided that I wanted to get into assisted living, something that I really wanted to do here was I wanted to figure out how to do it. I didn't have the money, and I needed somebody that did, and I knew he had funds available. And so I came to him with the idea. We'd already been talking about real estate and getting into it, and a little bit about assisted living, even because he knew I wanted to do. I had done quite a bit of research on it, and so the conversation didn't come out of the blue. It was a lot of conversations prior to that. But when I came to him and said, I really want to do this, I'm committed to it. I've already started building a business plan. I've done some of the underwriting. I had building that foundation that I talk to you about all the time. And the conversation was at a different level than me just coming to him and being like, hey, guess what I found on YouTube today? It was more of a, hey, I've been looking at this for quite a while now. I feel like this is a really good opportunity. And I'm putting in the groundwork. Is this something that you're interested in doing with me? Okay. You have to be careful when you're working with family, though, because it does change the dynamic of parties and other events and things like that. My dad and I luckily have a good relationship. We've maintained that as we've worked on our facilities for the past 4+ years. But I will say, much of our conversations center around our business. And so if I want to go golfing with him, or if I want to go to lunch with him, or just like hanging out and working on projects, I was up helping him on some house projects this past weekend. And a lot of our conversations are centered around the business. How's the business doing? What do we need to do? Here's some frustrations here. Here's what are we going to do about this thing? Here, this is how this one's performing. Oh, cool. We got a good chunk of money over here. We're billing over, like, all of our conversations are centered around that. And like, I'm fine with it. My wife doesn't really enjoy it all that much, but it's something that you want to be aware of. Like, what's going on, and how's that going to impact the way that you are having those conversations? How's it going to impact your relationship, family or friends? You want to be realistic that it will change the dynamics of those relationships. So you want to be aware of that as you're getting into it. But you already have those relationships. There's already a level of trust there. And so is it worth it to do? That's totally up to you. Next one is real estate in a real estate syndication. So this is where you're pooling money. You do have to be aware of SEC regulations. I work with an attorney. I am not an attorney. I cannot tell you the specifics of of what it's like to work in a real estate syndication. Would love to eventually do one here at Assisted Living Investing, but or with my facilities, but not in the cards right now. Okay. So it's something that once I am there and ready to move on, we'll do a lot more research on and provide information there. But real estate syndication is a great way to do it. You see it a lot in multifamily type properties where you basically have a group of people that come in. They say, "Yep, here's $100,000, here's $200,000," and the administrators of that syndication are the ones that are going out and finding the deal. They're running things, and then very similar to like the private investors, that group, you are intending to hold that property for a period of time, 2 to 5 years typically, and then you will turn around and sell it or refinance, and you give that money back to the investors that you're working with. It's a very simplified version of what a syndication is, but there are rules. You can't just automatically go out and start gathering money and raising funds. That is not something that you can do. There are SEC regulations that you want to do different types of things. And I don't want to give the rules on it because I'm blanking. I will probably say the wrong thing. But you want to make sure you understand exactly what that looks like for you. Okay. I think it's 506B and a 506C offering, but do your research. So that's a real estate syndication. Next is going to be bank financing. And this is something that I have experience with as well. And the other thing that's really important for you to understand is you can combine these things, right? You could, like I've mentioned here, joint venture with my dad as family, and then we did SBA funding, so did some bank financing. So I've used 3 of these just in my group, and we're going to talk about the 4th one in government programs and grants, which I've also done as well. Okay. But when it comes to bank financing, I teach a lot about SBA funding, but a lot of what I teach is very applicable to any other type of traditional financing, traditional loans, lines of credit, and that all includes the SBA. This is something that you have to build that foundation for. Whether you're working with a private investor, friends and family, working with a lender, they're going to want to see that foundation. They want to see that business plan. They want to see that you've done the underwriting. They want to understand that and see exactly what it's going to look like to have the confidence to continue working and moving forward on a deal. Because you could build out a group. You could have 5, 6 individuals. You're working together. We're going to do a joint venture. And then you start looking at the numbers and it's just not making sense. And then you just go on your own paths. Like I've done that. I've had those conversations several times, and sometimes it happens. Sometimes it makes sense to move forward. Sometimes it doesn't, and you just let the deal fizzle out. But you have to do that foundational work to know if it's worth moving forward. And then a bank, that traditional lender, is going to want to see it. They're going to ask you the questions about where's that money going, what it's going to be used for, what's the value of the property, is it going to be profitable, because they don't want to lose out on that money. So incredible way for you to get the funding, using kind of that bank financing, the more traditional route. It's just you have to go about it the right way if you're going to be successful. Okay. The next one and the last one is government programs and grants. So for those of you that have watched me for any period of time, you know I've been able to obtain over 1.2 million in SB or in grant funding. So 1.5 in SBA funding, 1.2 million in grant funding. I understand the process. I know how to go find grants. I know how to obtain those grants and how to use them. I'm actually working on that with somebody inside the mastermind right now and helping them navigate that and obtain some grant funding. They've joined my grant specific program for help with that. And so we're working through that because I have that level of knowledge. It's possible, I will say it's possible for you to obtain grant funds to start a business. I would say it's probably not likely, but it is possible. You just have to learn how to go find those grants, where they're at, how to obtain the funding. If you want to learn more about that, type in grants down below, and I'll make sure I get you some resources on that, on how to go find grants, how to write a good proposal, and make sure you have the tools that you need as you're trying to launch an assisted living business and get the funding that you need. There's a lot of complexities when it comes to grants. Most people, I would say it makes more sense to try to obtain grant funding after the business is up and running, but that is not a blanket statement. Sometimes it makes sense to look at it up front. Doesn't have to be a nonprofit. I do this as a for-profit organization, have received those funds. As a for-profit organization, I have worked for nonprofits and have secured multi-millions of dollars for those organizations as well. So I have a lot of experience in this area, and it's a really good tool if you know how to leverage it and have realistic expectations for the timelines and how you can use those funds, because there's a lot of restrictions put on that, but it is something that's out there that you could be looking at for sure. Okay, now let's talk about, now that you have an understanding of the different types of funding partners that are out there, let's talk a little bit about attracting those funding partners. And I talked about this a few times as I went through there. Building that solid business foundation is absolutely crucial. This is your business plan and your underwriting, just making sure that you understand, hey, this is the type of entity that we're going to do. I've done my market research. I know where we should be going. You want to build that foundation. It's crucial. If you're going to convince people to give you hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, you have to get them to be confident in who you are and the opportunities that you're looking at, or it's just not going to happen. It's not going to be successful. So you have to do that. It is such an important part, and it's overlooked all the time. So if you want to be successful, you have to build this solid foundation. You absolutely do. Okay. I can definitely help you out with that. Go to assistedlivinginvesting.net/launchpad. And I have my launchpad bundle can help you out in building out that foundation for sure. Next thing is showcasing your expertise. You want to speak glowingly about yourself, your accomplishments, what you are good at. You want to be realistic. You don't want to lie about it. But like I tell you every single time I see you, I have a master's in healthcare administration. I've worked in the healthcare industry for 10, 15 years. I've owned my facilities since 2020. Like I know what I'm doing with this. I know how to run these businesses. I know what I'm doing. I'm showing to you my expertise. You have to do that. It's called a bio, like a management bio. When you're writing your business plan, you're going to put it in there. You need to create elevator pitches, 30 seconds where you can explain who you are, what you do, and why you're excited about this opportunity. It's going to attract people, make them want to see you, make them want to work with you on those opportunities. So you have to showcase that expertise and make sure that people are seeing you and they're excited to work with you on that. You have to build out relationships as well. You got to start going to events and joining groups, Facebook groups. Get active in those. Go to real estate meetups. Build out relationships with people. You have to network and let people know who you are. When I was in my undergrad, so I did my undergrad at the University of Utah. It was in sports management. I wanted to work in sports. Like I love sports. I wanted to work in it. I got to work in it, and I hated working in sports, but I still love it. But I was talking with Tom Holmoe, who is the athletic director at BYU. Uh, I went and had a meeting with him. He was gracious enough to give me about an hour of his time. I was like just blown away that he would do this, and had a conversation with him. And we're talking, and he said something that has always stuck with me. You know, there's the adage that it's not who you know. It's not what you know, but who you know. And he took that a step further, and he said, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. So you have to be the one that's out there and be making an impact and building those relationships. If you are just blanket reaching out to people on Facebook or on LinkedIn or whatever, like you might get a little bit. I get people that reach out to me on LinkedIn and Facebook all the time, and they'll say, hey, could you help me out with this, or could you introduce me to this person? I'm looking for this type of a job. Like, could you recommend that to me? And I don't know you, so you have to build a relationship with me. We need to find some commonality there for me to feel confident in doing it. Like I'm more than happy to do it. I have helped people get jobs. I've helped people get into this industry. I've made a difference in a lot of people's lives, but it comes from we've built a relationship. They've shown me who they are, that they're going to follow through, that they're going to do the things that they want to do, or I've worked with them previously, and I know the type of character that they have. And it's me knowing them that allows me to feel confident in recommending them for something. And so that's the type of thing that you have to do. You have to build those relationships if you're going to be successful. It's absolutely crucial. The next thing is being transparent. So you have to build some agreements. So if you're working in that joint venture area, you want to have those operational agreements. You want people to know exactly what's going on and how that's going to work. You have to do that. And then if as you're building those relationships, you're looking at opportunities, you're the person that's looking for them or who's working on the licensing and trying to build out those policies and procedures, you have to communicate it out. You have to provide regular updates. I talked to the state, and this is what happened over here. I was talking with our broker, and this is what happened over there. If you don't continue to be transparent and build that relationship, continually build it, that relationship will fall apart, and you're not going to be able to take it all the way to the end. Doesn't matter how good the deal is. If somebody doesn't feel comfortable working with you, they're probably going to back out of the deal. So you have to be transparent. You have to do all of these things if you really want to build the relationships you need. These two things really go hand in hand so that you can be successful in moving forward with that funding partner to help you achieve your goals of launching your assisted living business. Now, as you're working with those funding partners, there's a few common challenges that I want you to be aware of. Number one is misaligned goals. And so if you have somebody that, you're the person that just wants a 10 to 12 bed facility, that's all you want. You want to do it in your local community. You have a house, you want to convert it. We have a 4-bedroom house, you want to convert that into a home, and you need some help with funding the renovation, whatever it is. And that's your level. And you're talking to somebody that wants a 100-bed facility or wants 20 facilities that are 10 beds, and they want it in a different state. That misalignment is not going to be good. It doesn't matter if you have the expertise and they have the money. If your expectations of returns and where you're at, if they're right here, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if where you guys are at, because those goals are so misaligned. You're never going to come to an agreement. So you have to find somebody that's on the same wavelength as you, and then you move that together, and that's going to allow you to be successful. So it's a huge common challenge, is misaligned goals. Number two is difficulty in finding those right partners. I hear from you all the time. There's so many of you out there that reach out to me. I can't find the right partner. I don't know how to get the funding. It's like, that is the thing that I hear most frequently from people like you. Either you don't know how to get started, or you're not sure how to get the funding. Those are the two biggest complaints. And so if that's you, like the video, number one, because we'd love to hear from you, but type down below, which one is it? Is it funding, or is it knowing how to get started? And I have resources for you in both of those areas. So just type that down below. But if you can't find the right partner, it's probably because you need to look internally at yourself. Am I building that foundation? Am I going out and trying to put myself out there and talking about the things that I want and building those relationships and networking? Or am I sitting at home and thinking, oh, I really want to do this, but I can't find anybody? What are you doing? Because if you're just sitting at home thinking I can't find anybody, you're never going to find anybody. You have to go out and be active, and you have to build these relationships, or it's never going to work for you. I just want to be honest with you. You're not going to find somebody if you're not looking for them, like actively looking for them, not just saying you're looking for them, but actually acting and going out there and acting and looking for the person. You're not going to find that person. And same goes with lenders. You're going to get told no by 90% of the people that you talk to. When you start talking and reaching out to lenders and putting deals in front of them, 90% of the time they're going to tell you no. And so you just have to be persistent and consistent at doing that. I say that at the end of every single video, and it's because it's true. You have to keep going step by step by step, and that is what allows you to be successful. Okay? Persistence is key. It really is. So if you can't find the right partner, try harder. It is one of those things. You have to cast this huge broad net that is just huge, like just beyond what you think it should be, probably like 3 times bigger than what you think it should be. That's the type of net you need to be casting. It's got to go out broadly to everybody. Okay. Next is handling some of those unexpected disagreements and challenges. So when you're having these conversations, you found a partner, you're working with them, and something comes up that is a little bit awkward, hard to have that conversation, you've got to learn how to handle that, how to have those conversations, those crucial conversations. Such an important part for you if you really want to be successful in what you're trying to build. So disagreements will come up. I guarantee it. Doesn't matter if it's a family member or somebody that you met on the street. It doesn't matter. There's going to be disagreements. You need to learn how to handle that, because if you don't, and you can't make it through those challenges, the business isn't going to work, or you're going to be super frustrated as you have the business up and running. So you have to learn how to confront those things and how to have those conversations if you want to be successful. Super important for you. Without that, you're not going to be successful. Even if you have that initial success in getting the funding to start, it's not going to be a pleasant experience for you as you're running the business. So you got to figure that out. Okay. Now, the tips that I have for you for overcoming those challenges are getting clarity and doing that through contracts, working upfront to create those operating agreements, work with an attorney, make sure you have everything that you need, make sure everything is clear, everybody knows what roles they have, and there's expectations. And if those expectations and responsibilities are not met, that there are ways for you to sever that relationship. You want to make sure that those things are in place. So absolutely crucial for you to have. there. You want to have regular communication. You want to have regular touch points. I was just talking with a group, and from what I could gather, they have a regular touch point, probably on a weekly basis, and they're talking about their opportunities regularly. They know what's going on. They have conversation. There's a lot of updates. There's a lot of emails that are going out, and that level of communication is key, because if they didn't have it, and somebody's just over here working in a silo, working on underwriting and not communicating it out to the group, and the underwriting's a little bit less than what the rest of the group was thinking, there's this misaligned expectations, and that's going to fall apart. So you have to have regular communications. You have to be talking about what's going on if you want to really be successful in everything that's going on. Okay. And then I also encourage you to make sure that you, as I mentioned, this is a dating process, and it's a marriage. Once you create that entity, once you create that organization together, you are legally bound together, inside of that entity. So you have to choose those partners carefully. You've got to build relationships and date that person. You're not going to the movies, but you're having conversations with them, and understanding who they are. And you want to make sure you have somebody that shares your values and your goals, and that there is alignment. Because if you don't have that, if they're misaligned, you're just not going to be successful. So make sure you take time to make sure that values and goals are aligned up front. It's going to avoid a lot of heartache and make it so much easier for you as you're getting into this. Okay. Now, if you are interested in doing this, you would like to connect, and you're one of those people that has the money, or you're one of those people that doesn't have the money, I actually have a way to kind of bring you together. This is not me raising funds at all. This is not a partnership with me. And if I make recommendations, this is not an endorsement by any means at all. But you can go in to assistedlivinginvesting.net/investors and fill out a little form that I have, so I can get your information. I will not share your information without first checking with you that it's okay to share your information. This is me. Hey, I talk to a lot of people. I'm kind of this hub for a lot of people that want to get into assisted living, and I can maybe help facilitate some of those instructions. I know there's investors out there, people that have money, that want to get into it, but they don't want to do anything. They want to hire an operator. They want to work with an operator, lease it out to somebody. I can help facilitate that. Or I know there's people out there that want to do their own business. They want something that's small, and they want to do things, but they don't have the money. They don't know how to get it. I can help facilitate that. So if you go to assistedlivinginvesting.net/investors, would love to have you do that. There's no guarantee that I can create a relationship with you, but it is a way for me to see if I can help facilitate something that makes sense, and then vet each other and make sure you're a good fit. And then if it does feel good for you using all the strategies that I talked about, then go ahead and consider doing a deal together. That's all. Hopefully I qualified the crap out of that to help out. But I just want to make sure that you know that I'm here for you to help you reach your goals, because that's what I love doing. Okay. A lot of talking today, but any questions, feel free to type those in. While you are typing those, make sure you like the video, subscribe, and ring the bell as well, so you get notified. If you're watching this after the fact, make sure that you are typing those questions in as well, because there was a question on a video like this that turned into this video. And so when you type those questions, I can give you information that's going to help you along your path to launching your assisted living business. And if you also ring the bell on YouTube, it allows you to get notified when we put content out here. We do lives on Tuesdays, and Thursdays we do our long form content, and we're going live now on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. So if you follow me on any of those platforms, hopefully you get notified when I'm going live, and you can jump in and ask questions. So with that said, let's get over here to this. Chad, you had a question. Do you have a way to qualify partners? And I think for that, in my mind, it's a lot of what I was just talking about, right? It's a lot of building out those relationships with people, getting a way to really work with them and understand who they are and what their goals are, and make sure there is that alignment. Because if there is misalignment in goals, then it's just not going to be successful. So spending a lot of time in building out those relationships and having that foundation is really going to be crucial to your ability to see if you can move things forward. You also, if you're working with high dollar amounts, I personally have done background checks on people. I have verified funds, those types of things, and made sure that I'm comfortable with things from that standpoint. But it depends on the type of partnership and where we're moving. But I try to vet people as much as I possibly can, with the tools that are available to me to see if they're a good fit for me, and then just through conversations, or if needed, verifying funds. That's another thing that I've gotten into as well with that. Nicole, grants. Yeah. So you go to assistedlivinginvesting.net/grants. You can get the free grant writing template. It's a incredible tool. The tool I've used to secure 1.2 million in grant funding. Highly recommend that you go and grab that. And then through there, if you also go check out the Launchpad bundle, assistedlivinginvesting.net/launchpad, you can get access to the full Launchpad bundle, which includes the Grant Funding Foundations course. So it's basically the Launchpad bundle is the price of the course. The Grant Funding Foundations course, you just get all the other stuff with it. So it's an incredible deal. So make sure you go check that out. assistedlivinginvesting.net/launchpad. So you can get that. Let's see. Life with Denise. Where do I get equipment? I am not sure what the question is there for equipment. I'm not sure which equipment you'd be asking for. I do have resources. So if you go to assistedlivinginvesting.net, big blue box in the top right corner, you can get the free calculator. Down here on the scroll, there's the business plan checklist. So assistedlivinginvesting.net/BP checklist. You can get that free checklist there. Or I mentioned assistedlivinginvesting.net/grants. That will also get you the free grant writing template. In the bio down below, if it's not on this video, it'll be on the next one. I have a link to all of my resources there. So you can get access to all the free resources that I have for you. There's 6 or 7 of them. I've got a bunch of free resources to really help you out as you're trying to build that foundation and get to the next level of launching your assisted living business. So hopefully that helps. Not sure if that's the question you're asking though. Maybe you're asking about equipment for the house as you're trying to get it. Oftentimes, Sunise, I think we had this conversation. That's probably what you were asking. When it comes to getting like the furniture and things for the house, you could go to a furniture store, you could get it there. You can get it at secondhand stores. You can go to Goodwill. You can go to yard sales. You just want to make sure that it's good, high quality equipment that you're getting for the residents. So you want to make sure that that is the case. But it does not need to be, the high end furniture store that you go to. That everything costs $1,500. You can get beds. We get bed frames from Wayfair, and we get mattresses from Walmart. We get stuff from secondhand stores. We've done that before with couches and things like that. You can, as long as it's in good operating condition, it's clean, it's well kept. It doesn't really matter where you get it. You don't have to spend gobs of money trying to get that type of stuff there as well. So a lot of really good resources for you to go and grab some of those resources. So hopefully I answered that question 2 ways. Hopefully one of those is the right answer for you. With that said, I want to thank everybody for watching. Thanks for being here. I want to remind you to go grab the free business plan checklist at assistedlivinginvesting.net/BP checklist. And remember, it doesn't take a lot. Well, at Assisted Living Investing, I'm here to help beginners like you launch their assisted living business. And remember, it doesn't take a lot, just a little bit. Keep going step by step by step. And I promise you, if you do, you're consistent, you're going to be successful. Thanks for watching and have a great day.